Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Sunday Messages. I am back. I'm officially moved into my new house, in case you missed it, in case you don't follow me on Instagram, or you didn't watch the February forecast, or you didn't listen to it. So I have officially moved in. Yes, I manifested the house. Yes, it's amazing. It's epic. I will share the full story on that in its own episode because it has been a really intense process for over a year. So I will be sharing more details about it. I think it will help all of you in terms of your own manifestations, your own creations, the way things unfold, timing, all of that good stuff. So that is number one. Number two, I want to let all of you know that the first free masterclass of 2022 has been put out. It is called Confidence Codes. We are going into all sorts of different avenues around confidence, self-perception, internal dialogue, body image, tools for confidence, just all things confidence. And I know this is something that a lot of people have difficulty really anchoring into and holding in a stable way. And the other thing that I want to mention about this is keep in mind that confidence isn't just about self-perception, but this is something that bleeds into everything. Really, it bleeds into relationships. It bleeds into your relationship with money, confidence. It really is an all-encompassing theme that can really be a game changer on so many different topics. So this is not just about how you see or feel about yourself for vanity's sake. This is much deeper in the sense that it really does influence a lot of different aspects of your life and can take you to places that I don't think you realize you have the ability to go. So I'm really excited to dive into the energetics of this. It's a free 4-day masterclass, so go register for that. The link will be in the description box or the show notes, depending on where you're listening to this. And we start on February 9th. So get in there. There's already 80, some of you, almost 90 people signed up for the masterclass. It's going to be epic. If you can't make it live, that's totally okay. You can watch the replays. The replays will be available until February 19th. So you do have some time to watch it, but definitely you do not want to miss this. It's going to be awesome. Also, I have been creating a new program for over a year. I've been working on this thing, and that will also be revealed during the masterclass. So I'm really excited to share all of this with you. It's going to be amazing. So that is all the housekeeping for today. But the topic of today's episode is actually going to be outcomes. So you know how you hear a lot of people say things like release the outcome, let go of the outcome, don't focus on the outcome or anything like that. I'm going to pick this apart, because this is way more nuanced than I think people realize. There's more to it. And the idea of not focusing on the outcome, I think, is confusing a lot of people when it comes to manifestations. Because here's what ends up happening. People want to focus on something they want. So we can say what you want is the outcome. Okay, that's number one. Then you have people saying, release the outcome, let go of the outcome. That seems to contradict your desire for things that you want to create, for manifestations. So here's the deal. Here's my perspective on all of this. You can 100% attach yourself to an outcome. This is completely different advice from what I think a lot of other people are telling you. Like, detach from the outcome. No. That won't work, because what that essentially says is forget your desire. Ignore your desire. Move on to something else. I don't know about you, and I've spoken about this in different podcast episodes. Who here has actually successfully let go of a desire? Anyone? I can't. I don't know about you. I can't do that. That has never worked for me. And I've spoken about how ignoring desires and ignoring the call of your soul and the things that you want is ultimately what leads to suffering in many cases. I know suffering is a strong word, but really think about what happens when you talk to yourself in a way where you're really trying to convince yourself that you can't do something or have something or align to something. Doesn't it just feel crippling? Doesn't it just feel absolutely wretched to be in that space, to be in that energy and actively talking against yourself for the things that you want and making a case for your limitations? I mean, that is just awful. And so I think people have been using this concept of releasing the outcome as a way to deny themselves of focusing or allowing themselves to desire what they desire, to want what you want. And I just want to remind you, there's nothing wrong with what you want. A pure desire that is being wanted from a soul-centered, aligned place is never going to be wrong. It's just not. Really consider your desires and the things that you want and the experiences that you want to have. They're sacred. They're holy. They've chosen you for a reason. Your desires are pinging you because they're saying, hey, create me, make me, bring me to life. That's the whole point of this expansion thing, this evolution thing that we've got going on here. So as soon as you try to cut yourself off from all of those things that you want and say, if it's God's will, only if blah, 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 then you're going to start moving in a direction that just makes you feel like shit. That's where the suffering cycle starts. So let me clear this up, because here's where the nuance really comes into place. And I've given this example before. Let's say you're thinking and dreaming up a dream job for yourself, okay? Just the most beautiful job that you can possibly imagine. You've been putting all of the components together. You know what the people are like. You know what the atmosphere is like. You know what the perks are. You know what the vacation time and the money looks like, the income, all the details are there. You know it, you feel it in your bones. Then you find a job listing and you're like, holy shit, that looks just like the job that I've been cooking up. So you fall in love with this job listing. This is where people get confused. So if someone tells you, okay, release the outcome of the job, that does not mean don't desire the job you desire. It does not mean throw your hopes and dreams away, forget about all your desires. That's not what it means. What I think people actually mean, or the actual energetics of what people mean when they say release the outcome, is release the attachment of how this dream job comes to be, and know that if there's any details that you do not understand, that you can't see, that you didn't hear about, all of the nitty-gritty details that you don't know, you have to trust the universe to weed things out for you. Okay? So this is another example would be looking for a house. Now, I went through a process over the past year where I got rejected again and again and again and again and again, and no house would stick, but I had to lean into knowing that there were things that I did not know about each one of those houses that I was rejected from. If there was any type of rejection of any application, I had to know I've been spared something and I don't know what it was. There was something about this property that did not line up with my desire. That's what I'm actually letting go of. I'm letting go of clinging to a particular idea of what I think is best for me. We don't always know everything that's going on in a situation. This applies to everything. This applies to jobs. It applies to clients. It applies to partners. It applies to travel plans. It applies to the grocery store that you choose. It applies to every single thing. So when someone says release the outcome, I don't like the way that sounds, because that sounds like put your desires on the back shelf. What I am suggesting is let go of the how. The how, whether it comes through this job listing or another job listing, I don't think you actually care about that so much. What you want is the end result. What you want is that all your desires are met, all the details are perfect, it's better than you could ever imagine. That's actually what you want. So who cares if it comes through this job listing or another? Who cares if it comes through this house or that house? If in the end, the outcome is a guarantee. So the human part of you is going to have a tendency to fixate on the how, or get into shortage as soon as a good opportunity comes into plain view. So for example, let's go back to the job listing. Let's say you find a job listing and then you start feeling a contraction around, if I don't get this job, another one isn't going to appear. That's where people fuck themselves up. That's where things start to go sideways, because that's not true. That's not true. I was talking to a friend about this. It wasn't jobs, but we're just going to use a job as an example. She fell in love with this listing, and she kept getting sucked into this fixation about this one listing. And I told her, I said, if it feels good to focus on this and you can fantasize about it and it seems to check all the boxes and you can go into a really pleasant daydream about this, focus on it. But in the event that you get rejected or you don't hear from them, know you've been spared. You have to trust that part, rather than being devastated if this particular listing doesn't work out. For the vast majority of you, if you have the sensation of being devastated when something doesn't work out, that's an indication of scarcity the vast majority of the time. So remember, if you're applying to something, or you're dating, or you're looking for jobs or anything like that, schools, if you're shopping for anything, and then that devastation feeling comes up, that is a cue that you're in scarcity mode. That's a really good piece for you to carry with you. So just understand that's not true. That's a lie. And if there is something that you like when you see it, or you enjoy fantasizing about, you absolutely can create it. The only piece that you want to let go of is the avenue that it gets to you, and not get stuck or hyperfixated on this one particular thing that you think is best. You've got to let go of what you think is best and instead double down on the desire. So I would say that the opposite of what a lot of other people's guidance would be as far as let go of the outcome. No. Let go of the how. Go deeper into the desire. Go deeper into the fantasy. Go deeper into what you want. Lean in even more. Lean into the feelings, lean into the experiences, lean into all of the goods that come from that fantasy, because that's ultimately what's going to come to life if you feel it strongly enough. If you feel it and focus on it and double down on it, it must come. There is no other way. If you are compatible with it, it must come. So yes, you can attach to an outcome. You can. I highly recommend it, because that's going to help you go faster. If you know for certain this is what you want, you know you can have it, you know you're going to get there. The details of how it unfolds, that gets to be a surprise, and you can relax about needing to control every nitty-gritty detail. That will make this so much smoother for all of you. But this is not about abandoning the things that you want. That hurts. So don't even try that. I wouldn't even recommend that. Just go deeper into wanting what you want and knowing that you can have it. So anyway, that might take some practice, but that is I think that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. Now, here's the other thing where when people say release the outcome, it actually can be beneficial. So releasing the outcome is really good when you can't come up with a solution yourself. So if you're faced with a problem and you literally cannot identify an avenue out or a way to navigate it, if you just don't have anything that comes to mind, then you can totally release the outcome because you can't come up with one and just focus on, okay, whatever the outcome is, it's going to be good. It's going to work in my favor. I don't care how it turns out good for me, but it's going to be good for me. And let it go. I don't really care how it gets taken care of. I just want it taken care of. And let it go. So that is something where, once again, that can really help you out. It prevents you from digging your claws in. It prevents you from contracting. And it opens you up to a solution making its way to you no matter what. So once again, people are going to refer to that as release the outcome. What they're actually trying to say is release the how. Who cares if you know the outcome is good? I just want a good outcome. I just want a positive outcome that feels good to me. And you release the how, then it gets to be easy. You don't have to, drag yourself through the mud of problem solving and figuring it out and feeling crappy. You don't have to take yourself through all of that. You can just cut the corners. So this is the distinction that I wanted to take some time and clarify for all of you, is that we're not actually releasing outcomes. We know what we want. We know the outcomes that we desire. That's a guarantee. That's certain. You can get there no matter what. The how, the details, the journey, the nitty-gritty, all of the nooks and crannies of what's actually going to happen, that's where you've got to loosen up. You can spend all the time in the world with your desire and with the outcome that you want, and I highly recommend that. Seriously. It's safe for you to attach yourself to an outcome. Loosen up about how it comes to be while continuing to hold the knowing that the outcome is guaranteed. And that is where I'm going to leave this episode today. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Go sign up for confidence codes. It's going to be epic. And I will see you all next time. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, everybody. And I will see you then.